How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Stormy Daniels interview on 60 Minutes on CBS. Now, I know some of you are cringing. You're saying, why do we have to talk about this? Why bring this up? Why bring up this media circus? I think we need to talk about it because, number one, it's a very hot story right now, and I want to give my 2 cents on it. But also, I think I have something to add to the conversation, something that's not really being said. I'm not quite sure why it's not being said, but it should most certainly be brought up. Now, let's just jump straight into it. We're going to jump to small clips here and there. I'm going to explain the whole interview. I'm going to recap it. But before I get into it, I just want to say I think this whole situation is happening because of the media, the old media, the lamestream media. This is their fault. The Wall Street Journal published an article exposing this whole situation, but Stormy Daniels, in my opinion, did not want it to come out.
15 months after she signed the non-disclosure agreement, in January 2018, the Wall Street Journal published this story, quoting anonymous sources, saying that Mr. Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, had paid her for her silence. Daniels says she was not the source of the story.
When she was asked about this whole situation years ago, she said it's untrue, it didn't happen. Then she signed the NDA in 2016, right before the election, and was paid $130,000 from Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. This was all documented. She admits it. The lawyer admits it. Everybody that's trying to attack the lawyer, Trump, and trying to defend Stormy admitted it was there. So why would she say anything? She signed the agreement, took the money. Why would she renege the agreement? The reason why she signed the agreement is because she didn't want all the stuff that's coming out now to come out. She has a child and she has family. She didn't want that to be a distraction or to weigh on her child's head. Now, her being a porn star might kind of interfere with her daughter, but I digress. My whole point is that the Wall Street Journal created a chain of events that made another avenue for Stormy Daniels to take advantage of. She would have rather have been quiet, not say anything, but since all the business is out there anyway, the NDA did not prevent her story from getting out. She figures, okay, I could take advantage of the situation, use it to my advantage, although I would not like that. It helped her, even though that's not what she wanted. In this interview, she admits that it did help her.
And people are like, oh, you're an opportunist. You're taking advantage of this. Yes, I'm getting more job offers now. But tell me one person who would turn down a job offer making more than they've been making, doing the same thing that they've always done.
However, she does reject being included into the whole Me Too kerfuffle. She's saying there's real victims out there and that her case, consensual relations with Donald Trump, allegedly does not fall into the whole Me Too space. She said she didn't want to do what she did with Trump, but at the same time, she did not say no. She's not a victim. She was not forced into it. She just caught herself in a hotel with him by herself, and that's what it was.
Oh, you know, Stormy Daniels comes out, hashtag Me Too. This is not a Me Too. I was not a victim. I've never said I was a victim.
Now, a further thing that lets me know, aside from her saying that it was consensual and there was no kind of force, it was also said in this interview that when Trump would call her after that first and only encounter, the consensual encounter, she would put him on speakerphone and show him off to her friends to say, hey, I'm talking to Donald Trump for real. So she was proud of the fact that Trump was calling her. Now, there's one thing that was said about the situation that could be seen as a dangerous thing, a criminal thing, and that was the alleged threat that was made on her by a random person. She did not say who the person was. I don't think she knew the person. May have been a stranger. They came up to her in the parking garage.
And a guy walked up on me and said to me, leave Trump alone, forget the story. And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, a beautiful little girl, it'd be a shame if something happened to her mom. And then he was gone.
But that claim may or may not be true. I don't know. I think the claim had been disputed. So we don't really know what's going on with that. But as far as anything that can be seen as criminal or some kind of thing that has been done wrong by somebody in this situation, that would be it. But again, that person could have been anybody. If this came out after it hit the news, that could have been any old random nut and just happened to recognize her at a certain place. Who knows who that was exactly, and who knows if it's true or false. Throughout the interview, it was revealed that she signed documents saying that the whole thing didn't happen, although now she's saying it did. maybe she signed a document back then to keep the whole thing quiet, to try and keep it quiet, and it didn't work. So now she's just coming out and saying whatever she wants to say, or she was lying. It could be a combination of both. She could be lying now, could have been lying back then, or vice versa. Who knows? In this whole situation, there are many, many, many lawyers involved. Throughout the interview, there was all kind of legal documents presented on the screen. There's all kind of legal terms used, all kind of lawyer speak used. A lot of lawyers were interviewed in this situation. So it's a lot of that real super legal stuff going on. It's hard for me to tell how the story is going to play out once you get the super legal people involved with it, because that's a whole different game right there. I've seen some lawyers in the courtroom work magic that you would never believe. It's a crazy situation when you're talking about the law, but I'll digress. Stormy Daniels' lawyer, a guy by the name of Michael Avenatti, disputed a lot of what Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer and friend, I think he's still Trump's lawyer, but at the time of the NDA being signed in 2016, Michael Cohen, like I said, paid the money to Stormy Daniels out of his own pocket. It did not come from the Trump administration, from the Trump campaign, according to what Cohen said. But Michael Avenatti's saying that's false. Trump had to be involved with it. But Michael Avenatti is a known Democratic operative. And shout out to Anderson Cooper for pointing that out during the interview.
But this is not the usual case you take on. You are a former Democratic operative, and you're talking about deposing the president. That sounds political.
Cooper did a good job here. I was kind of surprised because I'm thinking, okay, 60 Minutes, CBS, Anderson Cooper, who's also a big CNN guy, they're going to be totally anti-Trump. It's going to be a big Trump hate fest. But I think it was a little bit more balanced than I was expecting. Still a sensational story that really shouldn't be talked about in general. However, they handled it with not as much anti-Trump rhetoric as I thought there would be. They were talking about Stormy Daniels not really being credible. She lied then, or she lied now, whatever the case is. Talking about Michael Avenatti, you have something to gain in this. You don't like Trump. Matter of fact, Anderson Cooper, like I said, did a good job of exposing or presenting the fact that Michael Avenatti is or was a Democratic operative, but he also said a thing, Avenatti that is, that lets you know what side of the coin, what side of the aisle that he's on.
And Anderson, to the extent that Mr. Cohen and the president have an alternative version of the facts.
So this guy Avenatti obviously said that because of the Kellyanne Conway kerfuffle. Remember that when she talked about alternative facts, obviously that triggered him. That stuck in his mind. So he said that as a dig to her. You know, lawyers, they're very careful with their words. That's their whole profession, is saying words in a very precise and exact way. They're not going to be saying words accidentally, but I'll digress. This interview was kind of a whole lot of nothing because there was no impropriety happening. There was no rape. There was no coercion or anything like that. I think what it boils down to is, as I close, like I said from the beginning, the Wall Street Journal dropped the first nail into the bucket. They are the ones that came up with the story. I don't think Daniels wanted the story to come out because, like I said, in 2016, right before the election, it took the money, and then there was another document that was signed and put on social media. It was dismissed as being false, but now we know that that was a true document. I reported on that back when it happened. They do not deny that that was a true document, but they try to give an excuse for it. At the end of the day, it's the media circus around this whole situation that has created the environment for her to go on this whole Make America Horny Again tour to try and capitalize off of it. That's not something that she had to do. I'm not saying that the media forced her to do that. I'm saying they created the environment for that to happen. If it were not for the media leaking that story, I doubt that she would be doing what she's doing. What would be the purpose? Because now you're in jeopardy of getting a crazy lawsuit on your head. It's a lot of things that could happen to you. I think now she's in the position to get a lot of money from people that will pay any legal bills if it were to go that way. And like she said in the actual interview, she could have taken money that was much more than what the NDA was for to tell her story, but she refused because she didn't want it to get out. Now that it's out, it's like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I want and I'm going to take money. Not saying it's right, not saying it's a good thing to do, but that's the situation that the media, in my opinion, has created. So what do you think? Have you seen the interview in its entirety? And I will try to place a link to that in the description box below. But have you seen the interview in its entirety? What do you think about it? Do you think that she was lying? Was she lying during the interview? Was she lying before the interview? What's really going on? Do you really care about this story? I don't personally care about this story. I do care about the mainstream media's involvement with the story, which has made it to be this big monster that it is right now, which is the main reason why I'm reporting it. But I don't care if Trump did it or he didn't do it. It does not affect his ability to govern the country. It was before he even became involved with politics in an official way, let alone the president. So that's a personal thing you got to deal with. You know, Melania, they got to deal with it. That's how that works. So I ain't too much worried about that. The man's personal life, that's irrelevant. There was a man that accused Barack Obama of some homosexual activities, the cocaine, all that kind of stuff. And that guy's dead now, but we don't talk about that. So if we don't talk about that, why talk about Stormy Daniels? I know why. It's because a lot of people on the left, right, center do not like Trump. They want him out of there. They want a puppet to be back in the office. And the puppet could have had a crazy past. They could have been snorting cocaine off of midgets' hind parts. It doesn't matter. They'll put that under wraps. The media won't talk about it. Nobody in politics talk about it. They'll all leave it alone as long as they dance to the tune. But that's pretty much all I got to say about the Stormy Daniels 60 Minutes interview. Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.